Various ancient traditions and peoples from different parts of the world, from Egypt, Tibet, Mongolia, and Libya, to the native peoples of North and South America, including the Toltecs, Incas, Mayas, Aztecs, Tupis, and Guaranis, pointed to the arrival of a date of great significance for humanity's history. This knowledge also appears in Hindu and Atlantean traditions, which had long prophesied this crucial moment. But what would this significant date be? That day was September 28, 2005. This marks a positive turning point in human history because, from this date onward, ancient secrets and wisdom, safeguarded for ages, began to be returned to humanity. To understand the true meaning of this event, we need to return to ancient eras, specifically to what ancient traditions refer to as the fall of Atlantis. In the distant past, the idea of occult or secret knowledge did not exist within spiritual traditions. There were no secret orders or discrete societies guarding knowledge under lock and key. All sacred knowledge was shared openly and accessible to everyone, promoting a period of deep harmony and unity. In those days, ancient wisdom was transmitted openly to elevate humanity's collective understanding and consciousness. However, over time, this practice changed, and esoteric knowledge became reserved for a select few. In the beginning of what we now conceive as the Atlantean race, humanity lived through an era known in Sanskrit as the Satya Yuga, or Golden Age. During this time, human life reflected the highest levels of harmony, peace, health, and longevity. However, as time passed, certain events led to the development of secrecy and mystery, establishing esoteric knowledge and restricting it to specific groups. In this context, 33 orders emerged, responsible for regulating humanity's access to certain sacred knowledge. These secret orders, not public or discreet as we see in some societies today, were meant to define how much knowledge could be shared and in what way divinity would interact with humanity to restore the harmony and integral health of the past. This was an age of health, peace, and longevity, like that of the biblical patriarchs who lived 600 or 700 years, a common age for that time. These orders began with the so-called Order of the Trachus Marutas, later known in some traditions as the Great White Brotherhood. This group, composed of a few beings of high wisdom, continues to this day, albeit hidden from public view. Currently, we are witnessing the activation of the 33rd and final order, which will introduce a 1,000-year cycle described in many ancient traditions and legends as a time of peace and harmonious coexistence. Different religions describe this in their own ways, all awaiting the return of their Redeemer or Savior. Christianity speaks of Jesus' return. Buddhism expects the return of Buddha. Hindus await Krishna. In ancient Greek traditions, Orpheus, while Freemasons place their hope in the return of Master Hiram. Regardless of the name given to divinity, it is always one. What changes is the way each culture interprets and represents this concept of divinity, and this diversity is natural and correct. If the word manifested in the same way each time, there would be no evolution. But what is the word? The word is the manifest expression of what existed before creation, the expression of divinity in action, bringing into existence that which is eternal and transcendent. According to tradition, the concept of secrecy became necessary when humanity could no longer handle all the knowledge it was given. It's similar to giving a scalpel to a child who wants to become a doctor. This led to the rise of various orders and lines of work. In the context of cycles, known in Sanskrit as pramantha, evolution always unfolds along 7 lines. For example, the 18th order which governs humanity is known as the Order of the Nazar. Those who belong to it are called Nazarenes. Do you know someone referred to as a Nazarene? Yes, Jesus the Christ, known as Jeshua ben Pandira. During his formative years, From ages 13 to 33, he remained largely out of public view, studying in places like Libya and in sites like Inkut, the Great Pyramid of Cairo, seeking esoteric and spiritual knowledge. The 33rd Order, which will govern for 1,000 years, will bring about a period of complete peace for humanity, a time that may seem like utopia today. Yet human history has always had two aspects: the stories told in books as fantasy and the reality that often remains inaccessible to the majority. First, access to knowledge is divided into three levels. There is an outer circle, similar to the initiatory times in Greece, where the profane are, as suggested by the expression hekas este bebeloi, meaning get the profane out of here. As one approaches this knowledge, like you listening here today, one enters a deeper circle of understanding. These circles include mysticism, mythology, and in Egypt, the hieratic and the demotic, representing different levels of knowledge. The hieratic for priests and the demotic for the general public. Throughout history, knowledge has always been separated into levels, and now we are in the moment when these secrets are being returned to humanity. The secret orders do not possess this knowledge for themselves. They are guardians of wisdom that belongs to all. But how will this knowledge come to the public? Hermetic or closed societies will bring it forth naturally, for it's impractical to gather everyone in the world and initiate them at the same time. Initiating someone involves an almost academic process, which is not feasible for all. The current moment is about the initiation of the entire human race, and no one will be excluded regardless of race, location, or religion. All will be initiated through karma. It's not that those who harbor negative intentions will suddenly cease to be that way. Rather, there will simply be no other choice. The structure of things has been organized over thousands of years, with continual work by people around the world. In Brazil, Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Tibet, Libya, Egypt, Australia, Portugal, and many other places, dedicating their lives to this cause. Human history is marked by constant attempts to bring order. A passage from the Bhagavad Gita illustrates this, where Krishna says, "Whenever Dharma declines, I manifest myself to preserve the righteous and uphold the law." This means that when the situation becomes critical, someone emerges to try to correct it. Figures like Orpheus, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Apollonius, Manco Capac, and many others have come to re-establish order and law. However, this process of restoring the law has evolved in such a way that today we begin a cycle of realizing what has been constructed over tens of thousands of years. Surely, we will soon start noticing the changes that this continuous work will bring. For our initiation, no rituals are needed. There's no need to rush to find a book in Sanskrit or to look for a secret order. We don't need to go to specific places to seek knowledge. What matters is that knowledge will begin to flow around us, and we will be immersed in it. We will breathe knowledge and open ourselves to the wisdom that already surrounds us. Let's now talk about the calamities happening in the world. What is really going on? First of all, before the happiest moment of gestation, which is birth, there are contractions and pain. This pain is part of the process. It's like the saying, "No pain, no gain," meaning there is no learning without hardship. What we are experiencing now is a purging process, where we enter a period in which all masks will fall. This means that all of us, you watching this video included, will reveal ourselves truly, regardless of what we think about ourselves. The important thing is that change is inevitable, and we are all a part of it.